I'm back. Our little pre-show interview for the Live in the Dead 77 with SURCO.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for taking the time. Very nice meeting you.
Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. So you're going to play tonight. Is this your first time playing this show?
It is. It's my first time playing in Portland, actually.
Oh, first time in Portland.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's nice. I used to live not far from here when I was a kid, so it's nice to get back here.
But how long have you been making electronic music?
Ooh, long time.
Long time.
I was DJing and producing for probably almost 30 years.
Oh.
And been playing live for about 5 now.
But you've never played in Portland.
Never played in Portland.
Well, that seems like tonight is a very special night.
Everywhere else. Played all over the world. But
all over the world, but never in Portland.
Exactly.
You saved the best for the last.
I did.
So what can we expect tonight from your show? What is there like a special intention that you bring with you?
Yeah, I mean, so I think what's a little bit different about the way I do things is my show is completely improvised. So when I get up there to play, like we just did sound check, and then after that I go in and I blank out my sequencers and blank out everything. I don't have any patterns saved, nothing. So when I start, everything's fresh, and so instead of like playing a set, it's basically like live producing in front of the crowd.
So you have no idea where you're going to end up, but you kind of know the direction you're taking.
I mean, I know the sounds because I know my gear, but besides that, it could be horrible.
So
I hope it doesn't suck. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's humility. Okay, but what gets you to do that? Like, what's the motivation to just let go? I mean, I admire that. I think actually it's very healthy to let go. But
I think it's actually two things. Like, one is I DJ'd for years, and so I wanted to do something that was kind of as far away from that as I could be. So it's not for me. Playing things that I prepared in advance is kind of like playing tracks when I would DJ. So I wanted to go really far away from that. I also really like the idea that every show's different, every set's different, so you kind of have to be there. And if you're not there, you missed it. And you might see another one another day that'll be still my sound, but you'll never see the exact same show twice. So
there's something to be said about the genuine creation of art in the moment, right? As we say, art is created in the moment. It cannot be reproduced.
Exactly.
And it's almost a little bit like jazz. I like that, to me that sounds like free jazz.
It's funny you say that because I actually said that to a lot of people, that for me techno is like the jazz of electronic music because it's very free form. There's like not any rules to it. It doesn't have to be a certain way, where a lot of other genres of music it has to be like one way.
Right.
And with this, I love it. I mean, and I love the improvisational part of it.
So does that also mean that your improvisation is very free of form? Because you can improvise and still be rigid in your approach, like 4 to the floor, a grid, quantized scales, or are you like really?
No, so I do have like certain guardrails that keep it kind of from going completely wild. So like certain pieces of gear that I use can quantize things to scale. So I can write sequences live, or I can generate random sequences and patterns. So I don't know what the pattern's going to be or the sequence is going to be, but I can make sure that it stays in the key that I want to be in, for example. So I can give myself a certain amount of safety, but without having anything prepared in advance.
So what influences the twists and turns that you take? Is
a lot
it
of it
the
is
crowd,
listening to
or
it.
is it like the energy?
The crowd, for sure. It's for me, it's the idea of like, it's kind of like a conversation with me and the machines, and then the crowd is part of that too, and I'm kind of the translator. So if I feel like the crowd is feeling something or wants something more or different, I'll kind of translate that through to the machines.
Oh, and you take requests.
Well, yeah, kind of vibe requests. Vibe requests.
SURCO takes vibe requests.
Exactly. Yeah. So then it's kind of like I like the kind of conversation with the machines. So like I'll have the machines do something randomly that I wouldn't necessarily have come up with on my own, and then I'll put my part of the conversation by manipulating that, changing that, getting inspired by things that I hear, and kind of like if something interests me, I'll go off in that direction.
Wow.
And,
So it's really also a matter of trust faith and trust.
Yeah, I guess. I think it's funny because whenever I'm about to play, I always get in my head and I'm like, you fool, you should have prepared something. And then as soon as I start playing, I'm like, no, this is good. This is what I like.
Yeah, you get reaffirmation of your path. So you said earlier, you use the word techno. Mm-hmm. Techno is the jazz of electronic music. Is that how you would describe your music? Because I mean, it's not a genre. This is like, it's a world.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Music. Can you be a little more specific if you had to be? Like your compositions are, how would you describe them to a blind person?
To a blind person? Well, I mean, it would probably be the same as I would describe it to anybody else, because you don't have to see what I'm doing to be able to get it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's very dancey. It's very kind of club oriented. So it is very much 4 on the floor, kind of classic in that standpoint. But because it's improvised and because, you know, I use modular synthesizer, for example, so I'm creating sounds on the fly. Like there's no presets that I can save in my synthesizers or anything. So it's very free form in that way, but it's also got a very kind of traditional 4 on the floor, very danceable techno sound.
And do you record your music?
I do produce, like studio recording, but I don't tend to generally record my sets. Sometimes I do, but
it's just that the concept of recording sounds almost antithetical to your performance strategy.
So I produced for years, and I was producing using hardware, but also, you know, in a DAW, in the box kind of producing. And I haven't released anything for about 3 years, just because I was switching over to doing fully live stuff and wanted to make sure that my recordings would really kind of represent what I'm doing live. So now I have my whole studio at home is kind of reconfigured so that I can live record, so that I can just perform and jam, and I can still multi-track all of my stuff in, but while I'm jamming, and then I can go back and edit things and make changes, but everything that gets recorded in like that. I'm not going in and moving around notes.
What you see is what you get.
Exactly.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot wait to hear and see and feel what's going to happen tonight.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited.
Any closing words? Because I think we're up on time. But
yeah, no, thanks for having me. I'm super excited for it. Can't wait, and hope everyone enjoys it.
I think it will be a very welcomed addition.
Thanks.
All right. So tonight, SURCO's premiere in Portland at Live in the Depth 77.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.